Hey guys, Raptor Tristan here, and today we're going to be talking about a person who threw a tantrum on stream just because he saw the words they, them as a option in a game about space. Yep, I'm not joking. A grown man started yelling at the camera and going into this whole temper tantrum just because he saw they, them as an option. Yeah. And he also claimed, oh, the game's getting political. Like, shut the fuck up and go get a life, my guy. But anyway, apparently a person named Alex the Critic who decided to make a video trying to defend a grown man-child from in a temper tantrum and claiming he agrees with everything this man-child said. Yep. Anyway, let's get to the video.
You guys probably want to know what I think about Az's rant. Well, I hate to disappoint the contrarians in my audience, but I agree 100% with everything the man said.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready? Ready!
Oh, you agree with what the guy said? The guy didn't even say anything. All he did was see the words they, them, and proceeded to throw a bitch fit about it. Like, literally, it's just an option in a video game, and this grown man wanted to claim that it's woke and right-wing, which I don't know how having pronouns in your game makes a game woke or right-wing. But anyway, yeah, the guy didn't even, say anything. All he did was just throw a temper tantrum saying, oh no, you're ruining the game for me. You have pronouns in there, you're making it right-wing. That's all the guy said. And you agree with that? Let's just continue.
Too am sick and tired of woke ideology being forced into nearly every aspect of our entertainment, from video games to movies to cartoons to comic books, because it's taking away the primary draw of escapist fiction, which is that it's meant to be an escape from those real-world issues.
You are aware not all films and games are about escapism, right? Some films and games could have meaning to them. Some could be like a message about like the future of like humanity and how we're going to doom ourselves, or like nuclear warfare. Films can have meaning to them. It's not all about escapism. And also, how is having transgender characters in movies and games like woke in any type of way? I mean, it ain't even bothering you. But, anyway, let's just continue.
However, I'm not here to cover Az's rant. Instead, I'm here to cover what the Act Man said about Az's rant, because it's a depressingly blatant example of becoming the very monster you used to fight against. If you don't know who the Act Man is, he's a video game reviewer who is perhaps best known for his Why is X Game So Good and or Bad series, as well as his recent feud with another video game reviewer named Quantum TV, during which the latter abused the copyright system to censor the former. Now personally, I like the Act Man, and I've watched and rewatched several of his videos over the years. He's got a sharp eye for dissecting what does and doesn't work about the video games he's reviewing, a no-holds-barred sense of humor, and until recently, he was the kind of person who I had immense respect for. Let's find out why I lost that respect for him. Quote, gorilla-shaped man on the verge of crying because Starfield lets you pick pronouns at the start of the game and then it's never brought up again. Somebody please shoot this guy with a bear tranquilizer. He's going to attack someone.
You serious?
Personally, I don't really give a fuck that the Act Man made fun of Az by calling him, quote, gorilla-shaped, and saying that he needs to be shot with a bear tranquilizer. Az literally did the exact same thing himself to the developers of Starfield, and I've done that myself throughout several of my own commentaries. No, my issue is that the Act Man is missing the point of Az's rant.
Wait, there was a point to that? I mean, all I heard was mostly just animal noises and, this game's ruined because it has pronouns. That's literally all I heard. Like, his rant didn't even have any, like, point to it. There was no point. He was just throwing a temper tantrum just because he saw they, them as a option in a video game. Like, it's just 2 words, they, them. How is that right-wing and political? Like, his rant literally didn't prove anything. All he did was act like a baby over 2 words. Anyway, let's continue.
It's not the pronouns being in the game that he has a problem with. It's why they're in the game. The pronouns themselves are a symptom of a wider problem facing mainstream entertainment, which is the insertion, whether subtle or blatant, of leftist propaganda, which is making it harder and harder for people like Az and myself to immerse ourselves in the escapist media we pay good money to consume. So already, the Actman is purposefully missing the point in order to paint Az as some unhinged maniac who's making a mountain out of the smallest molehill imaginable.
Are you really this stupid? Literally. It's just, how is, like, trans representation left-wing and spreading propaganda? How is it spreading propaganda? You are an idiot. You are an idiot. Like, literally, it's just pronouns. Like, oh no, someone who has a wiener goes by she, her. Like, what's the big deal? How's that, like, right-wing and political in any type of way? Like, literally. But then again, I'm not expecting much from the guy that thinks showing kids trans representation is grooming, or teaching kids trans people exist is grooming them to be trans. Yeah, ignoring the fact that grooming is something that results in sexual stuff. Blah blah blah. Like, seriously, are you actually this fucking stupid?
What I also take issue with is his assertion that the pronouns are, quote, never brought up again. In a role-playing game that is no doubt going to be 100+ hours long and hasn't even been officially released yet, I refuse to believe that this is the case. In everyday human speech, we use other people's pronouns pretty regularly, and the same is doubtless going to be true for a game set in the far future where you explore outer space. So unless the Actman can prove that your character's pronouns are never brought up again after you exit the character creation screen, I think he's outright lying.
Alex the Critic, can you do me a favor and rename your channel to Alex the Dumbass? Because that's what you are. You're a fucking dumbass. Oh no, we have to refer to people as they, them in a game to explore space. What's the big deal? It's just 2 words, my guy. It ain't gonna affect the game in any type of way. Oh no, but you gotta refer to people as they, them. So what? So what? Like, my God. It's just 2 words, they, them. That's not going to hurt anybody. That's not going to bother anybody. The game doesn't even force you to choose it. It's an option. You can choose it if you want to. The game's not making you go by they, them. Like, you are such a fucking dumbass. Like, my God. Anyway, let's just continue with this shit show.
Last but not least, if the pronouns being in Starfield's character creator is not that big of a deal, then why are you getting all worked up about Az's opinion of it?
He's fucking not. He wasn't getting worked up about it. All he fucking did was make a tweet saying, hey look, a grown man's throwing a temper tantrum over 2 words in a video game. Actman never was making a big deal about they, them being a option. The only one who was doing that was Phoenix, or whatever the fuck his name was. Yeah, he was the one who was making a big deal about it. All Actman did was make a tweet calling him a big fat gorilla man, just because they, them was a fucking option. Like, seriously, my guy, do me a fucking favor and go outside and touch some fucking grass. Like, goddamn.
Why do you care if some gorilla-shaped man doesn't like that Starfield makes you choose what your character's pronouns are? Surely there are more important things to complain about in the video game community, if indeed pronouns being in Starfield's character creator is no big deal, right? Now, I'm going to skip the Actman's second tweet about Az, since it's just an unfunny meme in which he calls him a virgin.
Oh, you mean like what he is?
And jump right into his third tweet, because that's where shit gets really spicy. Quote, "So I wanted to see what that guy who screamed about pronouns in Starfield thought about the Hogwarts Legacy boycott, and I was not disappointed. The hypocrisy is prophetic." Attached to his tweet is a short video in which he splices a clip from a video Az had made about the boycott of the video game Hogwarts Legacy that was staged by left-wing activists during the game's launch in February of this year.
I'm pretty sure the people who, like, did that whole Hogwarts Legacy shit were not left-wingists, like you like to say they were. Also, by the way, why do you keep saying, like, pronouns and all this stuff is, like, all left-wing and all this shit? Like, literally, how is it, like, left-wing and political? You never actually answered that question, by the way. Yeah, you never answered that question. How is it left-wing? Like, literally. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna skip, like, the clip he shows because it's just, Ackman calling out the guy for being hypocritical, Anyway, let's continue.
Past our own fucking reflection!
Agreed.
Actman, I have a question to ask you. Did you actually listen to the videos that you were editing together? Because if you did, you'd be able to glean that what Az was complaining about in his Hogwarts Legacy video was the harassment campaigns people on Twitter were running against anybody who dared to stream themselves playing the game. And I know that that's what he was complaining about, because unlike you, I went back and listened to what he said in the original video.
Actman's point was that the guy was saying, oh, I don't care what people think. I'm going to play this game. I don't care if it offends you or all that stuff. But right when Starfield has they, them as an option, he throws a tantrum, which makes him hypocritical. Actman's point was that the guy's all about, like, oh, I don't care what these guys think, I'm gonna play it anyway. But right when the game has they, them as an option, he straight up throws a tantrum. That was the point Actman was trying to make.
Here are the clips I'm talking about.
You know, this whole aspect isn't in any way, shape, or form being pandered to such a degree that a lot of very dangerous people are now exploiting it.
Okay, I'm just gonna skip this because this practically doesn't prove anything. Like, sure, he does talk about, like, the harassment and all that stuff, but like I said earlier, Actman's point was that the guy was like, oh, I don't care what you think. I don't care if the creators of this game offend you. I'm still playing it. I don't care. But then right when they have they, them as option, like I said earlier, he throws a tantrum. The guy's hypocritical, and so are you, Alex the Critic. But anyway, let's just continue.
Not only are there clips of Az clearly explaining what his issues with the boycott were, but there's also a clip of him warning his viewers not to harass the people he's talking about.
Anyone I mentioned in the video, do not go after. Do not confront. I disavow anyone that does. I'm just bringing you what's happening. That's what we're discussing.
In fact, the dude was so nice, he did it twice.
Again, do not approach any of these people. Disavow anyone that does. I am simply giving an opinion on what is being said.
Now, with this in mind, I have another question to ask you. Where in Az's Starfield rant did he call for people to harass those who were streaming the game and liking it? Here's a better question. Where in his rant did he call for a boycott of Starfield at all? Here's an even better question. Where in his original rant about the Hogwarts Legacy boycott did he say that it was wrong to boycott anything?
I don't know what to fucking say at this point. Alex the Critic, you have completely missed Actman's point. Actman's point. How many times am I gonna have to say this? But Actman's point was that the guy was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play this game. I don't care what people think." Blah blah blah. But the exact same guy throws a tantrum just because they had they them as a fucking option in a video game. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't even know what to fucking say. Let's just continue with this.
The answer to all three of those questions is fucking nowhere, because you're a dishonest hack who's desperate to own the chuds, so you edited together this little video where you try to call a man out on his hypocrisy, even though the arguments you highlighted are anything but hypocritical. I expect this kind of slimy bullshit from leftoids like Hassan Piker and Vosh, but not from you, man. You've dedicated entire videos to calling out this sort of partisan hackery, and yet here you are, misconstruing a person's arguments in order to make them look worse than they are because they said something you personally disagree with in a manner you personally dislike. Worse still, you're doing all of this horseshit to support a video game from a developer whose last offering was, quite literally, a scam. I can think of no better way to end this video than with these verses from a certain Samson song I can't name for fear of this video getting taken down.
Okay, the video just ends here with some stupid dumb song you found on the internet. But I'm just gonna say this right now. Alex Critic, if you're watching this, which most likely you are, I have to say this. Really? This is what made you lose respect for Actman? Because he called out a grown man for throwing a tantrum over pronouns? This is what makes you lose respect for him? That's when you draw the line? Seriously? Like, go get a life, my guy. Go get a fucking life. Like I said, it's just 2 words on the screen. It ain't right-wing or political in any type of way. Like, how is pronouns themselves political? You're where you go by pronouns. You go by he, him. Are you political? Are you a Nazi, huh? Like, this entire fucking thing is so fucking stupid. Literally. It's just 2 words in a fucking video game. Grow the fuck up. It ain't ruining your media. It ain't ruining anything. How is trans characters and gay characters ruining media? Tell me. And also, how is having black characters ruining media as well? Like, literally. It's not left wing. It's none of this shit. You're just a fucking idiot. I don't even know what to fucking say anymore, but anyway, have a good day or night, depending on wherever you are. And Alex the Critic, if you're watching this, do me a favor and touch some fucking grass, because you really need to. Anyway, goodbye.